Hey everyone, this is Josh Smith with GottaBeMobile.com. Today we're taking a look at the Xperia Play. This is a new phone from Sony. You can find it on Verizon Wireless for $99.99 with a 2-year contract. You can also get it at Wirefly right now for free with a 2-year contract. The big seller for this phone, what sets it apart from everything else on the market, is it's PlayStation certified. So it's the first Android PlayStation certified phone. You can see we have a little PlayStation graphic here, but more noticeably, we have a full directional pad, dual analog pad, PlayStation buttons, and we also have bumpers along the back. So you can get a full gameplay experience on the go. It's perhaps the best portable game system slash phone, possibly the only one out there right now. But let's take a closer look at it. So one of the first things that you'll notice is we have a 4-inch touchscreen here. The screen looks pretty good on. It is pretty bright, although we do wish it could go just a tad brighter in a few outdoor settings. We have physical buttons along the bottom, standard Android buttons, a little different layout than a few other phones, but pretty standard. We have a front-facing camera, as well as a proximity sensor here up at the top. As we look along the right side, you'll notice that we have our buttons. These are your right and left shoulder buttons for when you're gaming. They don't do anything else outside of gaming. We also have our volume slider right here. On the back, we see our Xperia, we have our Sony Ericsson branding, and then we have our 5-megapixel camera with flash and our microphone. If we look along the other side of the phone, we have our headphone jack and our charging port, micro USB. What's nice is when you're holding this, if you're gaming, you can have those plugged in and you'll be able to game still without any issues, which is nice. So the big seller here is that you have access to PlayStation games. We have games like Asphalt 6, Bruce Lee, the well-known Crash Bandicoot, Madden 11, Modern Combat 2 HD. It's kind of a Call of Duty knockoff, a fun real soccer game, Star Battalion, which is a Star Fox knockoff, and Sims 3. There are a bunch of different games. Selection's pretty good. Pricing's good with games from, it looks like about $3. I haven't seen any over 10, which is nice. When you play, you can use your direction pad, the analog controls, your buttons, your bumpers, and the touchscreen gets used some too. So we'll take a look at a few of the games. So we'll open up Madden. One thing that can be annoying is if you purchase a game, you can purchase a game over the 3G radio, but it'll have to download an update of between 60 to maybe even 180 megabytes. And to use that, you'll need to be connected to Wi-Fi. So you can't, find a new game and pick it up and get going while you're out on the road unless you can find a hotspot. You can turn the volume up so you can hear. I found I really get into the game a lot more now that I'm able to see the whole screen. I have physical buttons, so I'm not always looking to try and figure out, okay, where's the button I need? How do I do this? I still haven't adapted completely to the PlayStation controls because I'm an Xbox kind of gamer, but on some of the games, it's pretty easy to get in there. So as we take offense here, I'll show you why I like this, especially on games like Madden, where you need to pass and it can be hard to tap the screen. I've pretty much given up playing games like Madden on touchscreen devices. Even as they try, it just never seems to work out exactly like I want. So we'll try a pass and show you pretty much the reason I love playing Madden on a game with on a phone with a physical gamepad. So you'll see I have my receivers and I can press the corresponding button and I don't have to be covering the screen and trying to figure out, where I need to touch up here at exactly the right time. I can just push the corresponding button and it goes right there. But again, a really enjoyable mobile gaming experience. If your big deal is you want something you can use to game with, then the Xperia Play is definitely one of the choices that you should look at. If gaming is third or fourth on your list, it's not going to make as big a deal, and you may even like the physical keyboard that you get with the Droid 3. So here you see what I was talking about earlier. A big bummer. I updated the game earlier. It downloaded a 5 megabyte file, real snappy. And now, as I want to show you Modern Combat 2, I have to download a 115 megabyte file. I have to do it over Wi-Fi. And from my experience, this is something that is somewhat prone to failure. One of the nice things about the Xperia Play, in addition to your gamepad, is the fact that you have a very stock Android 2.3 Gingerbread experience. So while Verizon has added their App Store, which is where you purchase the PlayStation games, you do have your standard Android market. All of your standard Android apps that you're looking for. Overall performance is pretty snappy. The interface is, some might consider it dull. If you're used to HTC Sense or Motorola Blur, stock Android is just a little bit bland. But if you like just performance, simplicity, definitely something that's a plus. We have 5 home screens by default. The keyboard that you use is okay. It's like a stock Android keyboard. And so if we'll take a closer look here. There's no haptic feedback or anything like you get on some keyboards, but it is pretty decent. We also have, if we pull it over here into landscape mode, auto suggest isn't the best, so personally I would install SwiftKey or whatever your favorite keyboard replacement is, but that's the great thing about Android is you can customize that. And so if you're looking for a smartphone, Android powered, and you really like to game, I don't mean gaming is something you do occasionally on your phone, but you want to converge devices and you really want a gaming smartphone. If that's the case, the Xperia Play is definitely the one you want. For me, you can't beat having an actual controller. Until someone figures out how to add a case like this that connects with Bluetooth to your iPhone or to other Android phones, you just can't compare. That said, at $99, the Xperia Play is a so-so value. You can pick it up for free at wirefly.com, which greatly increases the desirability. Really wish this device had 4G so that you could download the games, the full game, while you're out and about. It also would be nice, even though we're already at a decent sized phone here, if we had a 4.3-inch screen. Really would like to game on a slightly bigger screen. Don't get me wrong, 4 inches works out pretty well, but personal preference is the larger the screen the better. So if you can live without 4G and you're really into gaming, this is definitely a phone to check out. If you go into stores, you can play around with it, see if you like. Battery life, pretty good. Sony claims you can get 5.5 hours of gaming on this. I haven't tested the 5.5 hours of gaming, but with an hour and a half of gaming, email, average use, I was able to get through a full day without draining the battery. So head on over to GottaBeMobile.com and check out our full review of the Sony Xperia Play, available on Verizon Wireless.